Okay, so we are continuing with Hilchot De'ot. So that we have the material here. We're on the last page. At Perek Bet Halacha Zayin Amru Chachamim, and we are studying about personality traits. The back of the last page, right? So it's Bet Zayin. See a Bet Zayin. Amru Chachamim Rishonim. Interesting. I've seen that Jews are going to visit the synagogue in Damascus. I saw a video. Did anybody else see that? Right. What is that about? Is it not? Is it not dangerous, or I guess it's not dangerous?
I guess not. They're allowing people.
They're allowing Jews to go in.
Who's they?
Exactly. Right. Who's even running?
Did you notice the Sefer Torah in the video?
Yes.
Did you notice the Sefer we pulled out this week?
Yeah. Similar.
Same exact case.
Yeah.
Different color.
It
Yeah.
came from there. I think this is that we have here. It came from the
From that's exactly. That's what it looked like. Because I saw the Sefer Torah, I was like, oh, that looks very similar to our Sefer Torah.
Coincidence.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's very good. So anyway, it's very interesting. We live in amazing times. You know, a year ago you would have said they could have Jews visiting the synagogue in Damascus. I'm like, what are you talking about? Or that Israel would control the other side of Hermon, or that the idea of a Palestinian state is now an anathema to most Jews, except for those who are in mental institutions or Hollywood. But it's just unbelievable. It's like we've gone so far. There's been like a sea change in the attitude of people and the understanding of people, and it's really remarkable what's happening. So I don't know what's going to happen like in the next month or two, but definitely interesting. So we are studying now, and we will study the good doctor asked that we study Hilchot Pesach this year because we need to know how to deal with the issues related to the fact that Pesach comes out Saturday night right after Shabbat. I did look at that ChatGPT. Somebody posted a ChatGPT answer, and it literally looked like a kid who was like trying to pretend on a test like he knew what he was talking about, and it's like why, like just really silly answers. You know, quoting the Babylonian Talmud. I mean, literally, it was really funny. I got a good laugh from that. Wow, like I guess the rabbis are very, very secure in their positions now. That's all I can say. I don't know about other professions. I know coders are getting a little nervous, right? DevOps are getting a little nervous, right? Engineers getting a little bit, but so far rabbi positions are apparently are safe, at least until the next iteration of ChatGPT comes out. But okay, so we're going to continue now studying Hilchot De'ot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekohen b'ro.
So when we're watching your video over, let me see it over and over again.
Yeah.
Do we answer amen?
No, you don't. You only answer amen if it's in person. Yes, that's a very good question. Only in person. Okay, so Amru Chachamim Arishonim. So we're dealing with personality traits. There are some good traits that a person should have. One of the traits that Harambam speaks against, and that the Torah speaks against, and Harambam considers it to be one of the worst personality traits, is anger. And here goes. Amru. Does everybody have the place? First of all, you have the place. Amru Chachamim Arishonim.
Second page.
Right, Amru Chachamim Arishonim. Right, second page. Right, go to page 2. Amru Chachamim Arishonim. Kol hako'es ki'ilu obed avodah zarah. The worst sin in Jewish law is idolatry. There is no sin worse than idolatry. It's one of the three. That's Yahareg Val Ya'avor, which is to say that if somebody tells you to perform idolatry, or he will kill you for avodah zarah, shefichut damim, murder, gilui arayot, adultery, those three sins, one would give up his life and not commit the sin. So the Hakamim say that anger is a type of idolatry. That's really shocking that they would compare anger to idolatry. Anger is a psychological state of mind, and idolatry is the performance of an abomination. How can you compare the psychological state of mind of anger to the abomination of idol worship? And the answer is that idol worship, you're worshiping a God other than the creator of the universe. So we know that there is a creator to the universe, and we worship only this creator as the pasuk says, "Lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim al panai." One is not allowed to worship any other god other than the creator of the universe, and that's idolatry. What is anger? So in anger, one begins to indulge in self-worship. So your view of what just happened is not acceptable to you, and it's so unacceptable to you that you rage out against the reality, right? So it's a type of self-idolatry. So when a person is angry, it's akin to Avodah Zarah in that he's rejecting the Creator or rejecting what the Creator put around him and saying, no, I'm not accepting this. So that's the idea. That's a relationship between anger and idolatry. Is that clear? Yep. Bad things happen, and when bad things happen, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be pained. It's okay to be in a state of sorrow. But the idea of the anger is that you reject it. The idea of humility is that no, I think I must have done something wrong. I guess I misunderstood what's happening. If this happened to me, then I misunderstood what I'm doing, right? Sometimes bad things happen, and we're like, how could this have happened? And well, the answer is God is trying to tell us something. So when you reject it, you reject God, you reject the message, you reject the situation that God put you in. And it's supposed to be the exact opposite. You're supposed to accept the situation, accept the message, try to decode the message. I'm having an allergy attack. Excuse me, I'll get a napkin. Ooh. Well, sorry about that. Happy I didn't lose that sneeze.
Listen.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I'll be able to talk. I'm back. So, let's continue. Im hacham ve'amru shekol koes. And furthermore, they said, if a person gets angry, im hachamu, if he is a hacham, hacham is a person, of course, who is erudite in the Torah, who is intelligent, and this person, this hacham, if he gets angry, chochmato mistaleket mimenu. His intelligence leaves him. At the moment of anger, a person is capable of acting unintelligently, of saying unintelligent things, or of doing things that he will later on regret. So, even if you're usually a balanced person and you think carefully, you become angry, and then you're no longer thinking carefully. Even a prophet. So a prophet is a person who from time to time reached such a state of intellectual power, of spiritual power, that he will receive a message from the Almighty. And this Navi, if he is in a state of anger, he is absolutely foreclosing the possibility of prophecy. So that's how powerful anger is. And furthermore, people who get angry on a regular basis, their lives are not lives, because when you're always getting angry, it becomes like a drug, and then you're no longer capable of enjoying even good things, even things that you should be enjoying. You can't enjoy them anymore because you become addicted to the psychological state which says, I don't accept this is not good, I'm raging against the world, against around me, I'm raging against the people around me, I'm raging against the situation, right? So en hayehem hayim. Number one, you can't enjoy life, and it's a pity. God wants us to enjoy life. He gives us beautiful things, but you can't because you have that psychological state of mind. Lefichach, and for this reason, Sivul Itrahek min hakas, Chachamim said, stay away from anger. Don't allow it to overtake you. And a person should try to reach a state where even something which would justifiably anger you, meaning there are things in life that justifiably anger us, and where you say this is a righteous anger, and you're saying, okay, well, if it's a righteous anger, that's not what the rabbi was talking about. The rabbi was talking about people who rage against the world all the time, rage against people all the time, and there is such thing as righteous anger, and yet Rambam's advice is, don't indulge in righteous anger. Even though things, this should normally get you upset. Moshe Rabbeinu is dealing with the Jewish people for 40 years, For 40 years there's water, for 40 years there's food, for 40 years they have clothing, everything is going well. When the Yaman Nabi dies, for a day the water stops, people get upset at him, they're complaining, and he loses his cool, and God tells him to speak to the stone, and he hits the stone. Alright, that was a righteous anger. Meaning, we're not going to condemn Moshe Rabbeinu for getting angry at that. Yeah, he was right for getting angry, and yet he was wrong. He shouldn't have gotten angry. And for that righteous anger, he ended up losing the right to enter Eretz Yisrael, right? So the Chachamim say, just stay, don't even indulge in righteous anger. V'zohi derech hatovah, and this is the good path. If you want to have a good life, if you want to enjoy yourself, just be able to enjoy life. Don't let things bother you. Like great advice? Don't let things bother you. There's always something to bother you, but there's always, I notice there's people sometimes that they're always complaining, and it doesn't matter what the situation is, they're complaining, right? And then there's people who are always happy, who are very, very happy, very satisfied, and the people who are happy, they enjoy things, and because of this, they're enjoying the life that Hashem gave them, right? The derech ha-sadikim, this is the way of the sadikim. The sadikim are like this, that they don't allow things to trigger them. And it's beautiful outside, just go to the beach. How many people go to the beach? My wife and I go to the beach. We always look around and say, who's there? Sometimes I see the good doctor there. But like so many beautiful things around, and we don't know how to enjoy the beautiful things around us because we get like sucked in from different directions, pulling us. And so just stop, relax, and enjoy, right? That's the way of the tzaddikim. And oluvim, they're not oluvim. The tzaddikim, they have a very interesting trait. Hen aluvim, what does aluv mean? Aluv means that if you put them down, they don't care. Okay, whatever. You know, so you said something bad about me. Okay, you were mean. Meaning it's not gonna bring them down. They won't. Normally, if somebody says something like that to you, you answer. You call me ABC. I'll call you XYZ. Right? They don't react. They're not going to go back and stoop down to that level. So hen aluvin. So if somebody insults him, he's not going to insult the other guy back. He's totally at peace with himself. Shomim patam. They hear the insults. They don't answer. I learned this from my father. The truth, there's a lot of politics in the community. I'm not going to get into the politics, of course, but he always was very careful, and he told me, don't take any of it seriously. He was very placid about the whole thing. It's very interesting, right? So Patam, he heard some of the things, of course, but he didn't. He was too busy studying Torah and teaching and writing. So that's the idea that Rambam is talking about. Because if you get involved in answering and fighting, and you said this, and no, I didn't say that, don't answer, right? I think if you could, I think this excludes you from entering Congress. Right? I think I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this probably excludes you from entering. It certainly excludes you from entering the Knesset, right? But I think today to be a politician, you have to be like in the business of always like slinging and attacking. But okay, osim me'ahava, and whatever they do in life, these tzaddikim, whatever they do in life, they do it with love. They're just happy to do it. They're happy to help. Yeah, can you help me with something? Yeah, I'm happy. What is zechut? Thank you for giving me the zechut to help. Whenever they need somebody. The children need help. The wife needs something. Whatever they do it with a gleeful heart. This is about the old timers. You remember your grandparents or your parents? This is our father's generation, our grandparents' generation. They were very happy and very calm. And even if bad things happen, they take it as kaparat avonot, and they're semechim. They accept the yisurim, they accept the suffering, and they say, this is kaparat avonot. I did something, I deserved it. There was a great, I don't know if anybody here remembers, there was a person in the community called Yaakov Arama. He was involved in the Hevra Kadisha. Maybe it's before your time. So I knew him when I was young. He passed away, I think, in the 70s. He was one of these like old, he was Moroccan, but he was in Magen David with Mickey Carey, and he was like in the Syrian community. A very big tzaddik. And I remember Mickey telling me, Allah Shalom, Mickey, another big Sadiq, right? Also Mickey had this trait, right? Mickey was always happy, he was always in a good mood, he was always, right? For those of you who knew Mickey, that was his MO. So his mentor, or one of his mentors was Yaakov Arama, and Yaakov Arama was with Chazit. He apparently, when he passed away, or before he passed away, he was suffering, and Mickey said, "Why are you suffering so much? How does that make any sense?" And he said, "That's between me and God." Right? He was very happy with the Yisurim. He did it that way. He said, "That's between me and God. Me and God are having a conversation. It's not your business. That's my business." And he completely accepted the Yisurim. Right? So sometimes when the Sadiq suffers, he understands. Okay, he's having his conversation. Aleim HaKatuv Omer, and about people like this, the pasuk says, people who always accept whatever Hashem throws at them, rather than get angry at what Hashem throws at them, they accept it. The Ohavav Keset Hashemesh Begurato. Those who love God, they're like the rising sun, becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's the ultimate that we can reach, is the ultimate spirituality, is to be this. That's the ultimate spirituality. Be happy with what Hashem gives you, accept it, right? We try hard, we do whatever we can do in life, of course, we must try, you must work, you must be careful, you must be precise, no question. But sometimes if something in life goes the wrong direction, you accept it. And you know that God has a plan for you, and nothing happens by coincidence, and you accept this plan, right? And then you become like the rising sun, stronger and stronger and stronger. All right, so that's anger. Let's go now to the next topic, unless there's questions about the topic of anger. I hope I didn't defend anyone.
You made a comment before about righteous anger.
Well, so yes.
Could you give a little more clarification on what would be considered righteous anger?
Yeah, so for example, the example I brought was Moshe Rabbeinu when the people were complaining about him. Now another example is Eliyahu Navi. So Eliyahu Navi was in Har Carmel, and he made great miracles in Har Carmel, and basically there was a showdown between Eliyahu Navi on the one side and 400 Nevi'ei Habal on the other side. There was false prophets of the Baal god. It was a type of a Phoenician god that they used to worship, and Eliyahu Navi showed that the whole thing is nonsensical, and he performed great miracles, and he was sure that the Jewish people will make teshuvah. Meaning, after that experience, he was saying, "That's it. I won. I won. They're going to make teshuvah. They're going to repent." They don't repent, and he becomes very bitter about it. And of course, I mean, I'm not going to fault him at all. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, but that was righteous anger. He was righteously angry. And then he goes to the Sinai. He goes to Har Sinai. He reaches Mount Sinai, where the Jewish people receive the Torah. He goes into the desert for many days, and he reaches Mount Sinai. And God tells him, "What are you doing here?" And he says, I'm jealous. I'm angry about what's happening. That the Jewish people have left the Torah, are doing Avodah Zarah, and you're responsible, God. He was actually saying, "You." And he was angry. That was real righteous anger, more righteous than that you can't get. And we would never, God forbid, in the least bit fault Eliyahu Navi at all. And yet God tells him, "Okay, so I'm going to find a replacement for you. So get ready for the replacement." And he sends him to find his replacement, which is going to be Elisha. So Elisha is a replacement for Eliyahu Navi. So that's an example. Yeah, does that help? Another example. Let's stick in our own lives. We tell our kid to study for the test. They don't study for the test. They get an F on the test, and now you have to waste time going to the teacher and spending time in school and the whole thing. Now, if you're a parent, that would be an example of righteous anger. I told him to study, he refused to study, or told her to study, she refused to study, and this and that. And now you have to spend time in school, back and forth. Now you're wasting your time because the kid didn't want. I'm always getting angry talking about it. Damn, what the heck's going on here? Okay, but anyway, that would be an example of righteous anger where, naturally you get upset. And the good idea is just to accept it and deal with the situation intelligently. Last week we said that if you want to, you can feign anger. You can pretend to be angry so that your kids or whoever it is take you seriously. Let's say you're a boss and they're not working. like, and they, what do you know? But pretend. Pretending anger is okay according to Rambam, but feeling anger, actually having anger, that's not good. So if you need to yell at your employees or something, or Doge, and who is this person? It doesn't exist. Get them off the payroll right now, right? Just that. So you're feigning anger for a good cause.
So is it a sin to be angry, or how are you supposed to work on that, or?
Yeah, and it's a sin. It's a sin in the sense that we're expected to always, to emulate the ways of God, right? And part of emulating the ways of God is to have self-control over our emotions. And when a person gets angry, he kind of loses control. So that's why they said it's like it's like he's worshiping idols. Yeah, so it is an adera, and we should definitely work on that for sure. Yeah. All right. So that's anger. Let's go to the next character trait. Le'olam yarbeh adam mishtika. A person should always try to use few words. V'lo yidaber ela b'dar chokhmah. If you're going to talk, if you have something intelligent to say, fine, say it. That's fine. So you want to speak Torah, you want to explain something in the Torah, I give classes, okay, that's all good. Intelligent speech. Or for business, of course, you need to do business. You're selling a product, you're doing something, you can have conversations. That's all intelligent speech which has a benefit to it. So speech which has a benefit is good, but just sometimes the idea of just idle speech for Harambam and for the Hachamim is a negative thing, right? So too much speech or too much idle speech, no good. Amu al-Rav Tamid Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Rabbeinu HaKadosh was the author of the Mishnah. So the Mishnah is a summary of the Torah Shebe'al Peh, and then eventually after the Mishnah comes the Gemara. The person responsible for finalizing the Mishnah was Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi was the political leader of the Jewish people after the destruction of the Second Temple. He was in Israel, and he had a Talmid called Rab. Rab eventually goes to Babylonia, and he becomes the Rosh Yeshiva in a place called Tzura. They spoke about this Talmid, this student, Rab. They want to say, what was his great claim to fame? He fasted every day. No, that wasn't his claim to fame. He refused to do the army, and even when Jews were dying in Israel, he said, "No, I'm not going to go to the army." No, that wasn't his claim to fame. What was his claim to fame? He refused to indulge in idle speech his whole life, right? That was his claim to fame. It's very interesting, the ideas of piety that we have today and the ideas of piety that they had in the days of the Gemara and the days of Rambam, completely different concepts, right? So he would not indulge in idle chatter. I want to give you a little background as to what this is about. So, do you know what man is called in Kabbalistic thinking? So there's the lowest form of the creation. The creation is divided into four parts. Domem. Domem means non-animate things, be it stone, be it water, be it air. And then above that is the someach. Someach means vegetation, plant life. Then above that is Hai. Hai means like animal life forms that can move, that go from place to place. They have volition. I'm now here and I want to go there. And you know what the fourth state is? What is it called? Hamdaber. Right? What makes man unique is our linguistic skills, right? So we're the only animals in the world that can take symbols and use symbols to express external reality, right? There's no relationship between the word water and the water, right? So it's this fascinating thing. So my mind is taking a sound, in auditory sound, and it's determining arbitrarily, but all of us together as a convention, we determine that the sound water refers to what's in this bottle. Or in Hebrew, the word mayim refers to what's in this bottle. So that faculty is a fascinating faculty, and books have been written about linguistics. I'm not going to get into that now, but we're called Hamdaber because we have that power. That's a very special mental power. Yes, sir?
Is it true that words are counterful?
That words
A
are?
person has X amount of words.
I heard that once. Somebody once told that to me.
Told me that, so
Who told you that?
my mother.
My wife tells me that all the time. She does, yeah. I sometimes get a little joking and she says, Evie, you have a limited amount of words. I never found the source for it though. So I'm not saying it's not true. I just don't know what the source is. But you get the idea. So the idea is that we're that the medaber, the special power of man.
Don't waste your time asking that question again.
Wise guy. So, Amdaber, he who speaks. So, because we have this special gift from God, the idea is don't cheapen it by using it in a inappropriate manner or in a wasteful manner. How about that? That's probably the best way to put it. So, אפילו בצורכי הגוף לא יביא אדם מדברים, ולא סיבוך חכמים, ועם מוכרם מבית דברים, נביא חייטין. The חכמים said, ועל זה סיבוך חכמים. They said, if you speak too much, eventually it's going to lead to sinful behavior, because what you do affects your mind. What you say affects your brain. It's not the other way around. Meaning, a person who indulges in certain type of speech, let's say a person that people like to curse all the time. Okay. So you say, okay, so what did I do? I didn't do anything. I just cursed. It's just a word. I just, I pronounced a certain type of sound. Who cares? But what you say, it affects the thought process, right? There's a relationship there. So if you indulge in speech that's not nice, it's going to affect your brain and it's going to defile the soul. So bad words uttered by a person actually defile the neshama of that person, right? So too much speech is no good. But of course, siha, nivul peh, in Hebrew it's called nivul peh, to speak about things that are just not nice. Unfortunately today, it's become almost like there used to be a time where it wasn't so common. Today it's very common, and it's not a good thing about society that we have that.
But it's also Lashon Hara.
That's another thing. By the way, you're 100% right. We're going to talk about Lashon Hara separately because it's such an important topic that it's going to devote an entire section for that. We're not even there yet. That's how important what that topic is. There's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot that says the best thing for your physical health is to be quiet. What's the relationship between being quiet and physical health? How are the two related? I don't know. But I think I know. I think that the ability to control one's speech and one's emotions as well brings a certain calmness. Meaning normally, somebody says something, like when I was young, I used to argue about politics sometimes. Let's say about Israel. We shouldn't have given away Gaza. I'd argue with people, why are we giving away Gaza? I remember 2005. And as I got older, I realized that there's a certain tension that these types of arguments bring. And I actually enjoy not arguing, it brings a certain calmness. And I think with the calmness comes physical health. I believe. I'm trying to understand what the Hachamim meant by this. Again, they said that if you are a person who knows how to control your speech and you don't find it necessary to answer all the time, it's going to bring you physical health. Laguf, velo masati laguf. For the physical body of the person, minimize speech, right? So that's my theory. That's my understanding of the relationship between minimizing speech, which brings calmness, self-control, and lowers negative energy in the body. Therefore, it brings health. That's any ideas? Anybody want to add to it? Yeah.
So could it possibly refer to your spouse? If they have less to say, then your goof is going to be more calm?
Let's put it this way. Sometimes when people get into arguments with their spouses, they're just talking and they're not listening. And oftentimes, the not listening part, it on both sides, it reflects a certain tension, a certain anger, right? So literally, just stop listen. If somebody speaks stupidity, I can't help them because they're stupid anyway. I believe that. I believe that, especially in the realm of politics. But it's so important to listen to our loved ones and understand what's really bothering them. So if you're not capable of stopping and just don't talk and just listen and understand what's bothering this person that you love, you might be able to do something about it. But most people don't. Most people are like, why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? Wow. And then it becomes a very
No, because you're talking
toxic.
about what's coming out of your mouth, but what about listening? I mean, it's
Exactly.
is there anything there? Because they say don't listen to Lashon Hara, for example.
Right.
So that's
To reject it. In my mind, I do that all the time. I always say Lashon Hara, and in my mind, I'm like, okay. Like I reject it. That's my default. I don't need to argue with people either. If there's a benefit, then I will say something. But 99% of the time, there's no benefit. That's why I just don't argue. Yeah. So וכן בדברי תורה ודברי חוכמה יהיו חכמים מועטים. And also an intelligent person, when he writes something in Torah or when he says something in Torah, he should be able to have a lot of information in the least amount of words, right? That's challenging, right? So if you can have a denser speech, which is very meaningful and rich with meaning, that's praiseworthy. והוא שסיברו חכמים ואמרו, לעולם ישנה אדם לתלמידו דרך כסרה. That's what the Chachamim always said. When you teach your students, try to teach them not to be verbose. Right? If you can formulate an idea in a more concise manner, that means that you really understand the idea much more clearly. Right? When you have a clear understanding, then you have a concise formulation of that understanding. On the other hand, if the person, sometimes you listen to people just talking and talking. Anybody hear Harris's speech the other day? She gave a speech in the NCAA, whatever, National Colored something. Well, does anybody find all these things to be racist? Personally,
Very, yeah.
right? I don't say can they just give up the racism, the anti-white attitude? I really don't care what color a person's skin is. But apparently for these people, it's very important whether you're black or Latino or brown or red. I don't know what these colors are. Like, are you red? Maybe you're red. I don't know. I know I'm definitely white. You might be red. I'm not sure. Maybe you're brown. I mean, it's really like the intellectual level around us is just remarkable. Like, they're going to write history books. I think, could humanity have really been that stupid? Like, there can't be enough. But we have the videos. Kamala Harris speech, right? Like, it's like, and people are like, yeah, this is so inspiring. And just literally saying nothing. You have the power. All right, then I'm gonna go home now and just watch some TV. I don't know. What does it even mean? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. I just, whatever. So sometimes you have people talking and talking and talking. And you're like, what do you want from me? Please stop. So that a lot of words and literally no meaning.
great example.
Right. Yes. That's just right. That's stupidity. Now and about this type of person, the pasuk says, sometimes a person has a dream, and I don't know, you have a long dream, and in the dream there was only one thing that was actually meaningful. And the rest of the dream was just fluff and stuff. You want to know an unintelligent person? They talk and talk and talk and talk. And what's the point? I don't know, a 1 hour speech, and maybe there was a single point. Right? So that person is a kasil. All right. So that's interesting. So the idea of speech in Judaism is another important character trait. So try to minimize anger, reduce it completely. Try to increase the ability to listen to the people we love, and minimize speech at the same time. Because when you minimize speech, you become more aware of what people are saying. Seyag lachokhma shetika. And if you want to be an intelligent person, you want to learn, listen. Sometimes people come to a class, before I even open my mouth, Rabbi, I have a question. I miss up the class. I'm just like sitting here, right? And you see it. So listen, and after you listen, you can learn. So siyag lachokma shatika. So a boundary, something like a border, like a fence, to protect chokhmah, so that you can become intelligent, is listen to the people carefully. Lefichach lo yemaher lahashib. Don't be so impetuous to give an answer. Don't think I have to say something right now. I want to impress the people around me, right? And the teacher, on the other hand, also, when he teaches, he should teach in a calm fashion. He'll be screaming, and right? And what is it? The preachers, I feel the heat under my feet, the fire of hell, damnation, right? Whatever, like screaming and like going nuts. Like, no, just try to be a little calm and deliver the message in a calm way, and not in a verbose way. Husha Shlomo Omer, and this is what King Solomon says: Divrei Chachamim b'nachat nishmaim. The words of the Chachamim, they are received calmly, because when the Chacham speaks, he speaks intelligently, and you don't need to be all crazy to get the message. You can be calm. The Chacham has a message, and you just listen carefully, and that's what will guarantee that you become more intelligent. So that's the idea of economy of speech. Any questions before we go on to the next topic, which is actually related? Okay. Now, asur le'adam le'anig asmo b'divrei halakut u'pitui. A person has to be careful not to be a phony. Don't say something nice to someone because you want to calm them. Like, I'm a used car salesperson and I begin to talk. Oh wow, look at those pants you're wearing. Oh, did you get them for that? That's the best. You're trying to make the guy feel good. You patronize a person, and you're beginning to just talk in this way, not because you care about the person, not because you like them, but because you want something from the person. In this case, you want to sell him a used car. So it's forbidden to do a con job on people. Don't lie to a person. You think one thing in your heart and you say something else in your mouth. It's haram. The inside should be like the outside, right? Very important not to be dishonest. Dishonesty, verbal dishonesty, is a very destructive trait, because when you are verbally dishonest, you're creating a certain split in your psyche, and that split is very damaging, not to the people around you, it could be, but it's very damaging to yourself. So very important to have a certain level of transparency. You don't have to say everything. If I see somebody and they're I don't know, God forbid, they look terrible. I don't say, oh, you look terrible. But I'll say, oh man, you look so good today. Right? You understand? There's a difference between saying everything. Like I think some people have Tourette's syndrome. They can't control themselves. That's not good. No. We're not saying that you should, insult people. But you also shouldn't be conning people and lying to them. Right? So you feel one thing and you say something else. That's haram.
What if you're doing it to boost their spirits or morale?
Yes. You're doing it not because you want something for them, but because you want to give them something. Yeah. So sometimes you want to make somebody feel good, and you can tell that that's actually a misvah, because that's not hanupah. The example of the car salesman, he wants the guy's money. He wants to sell the car because he wants something, and right, he wants the money. In this case, you're doing a misvah, you're doing chesed. You want the person to feel good, but even there's a machloket in the Gemara in Masechet Ketuvot Daf Het, I think. The question is, Kesal merakedin lifnei hakala. How does one dance in front of the kala? And the question is, are you allowed to tell the kala that she's beautiful if she's not beautiful, right? but you want it to feel good. So the answer is yes, in the case of the kala. But what about in the case of a regular person? Let's say a regular person is down, is depressed, and I want to make him feel good, so I'm going to tell him something. So I have to be careful. I have to say something that has some semblance of truth in my mind. So there's a way to do it without being a bold-faced lie. A bold-faced lie is never good, right? Except in the kala. Again, the Gemara says in the case of the kala, praise her and say she's beautiful, and that's okay. But regular people, if you're going to say something to lift the spirit, but try to say something that has a kernel of truth to it. You see what I'm saying? All right. See, where are we up to? What is in your heart should be in your mouth. You're not allowed to lie and deceive, even to a goy. You shouldn't lie and deceive a goy. They say, this is a goy, what do I care? No, it's haram. And again, it has to do with you more than the person you're lying to. Because again, I'll say it a second time, when you lie, when you're deceitful with your words, you create a certain split within the neshama, and you become the victim of your own lie. So why does it matter if it's a goy or a Jew? You shouldn't be lying because you're doing something very negative and destructive, right? Kesar, examples. You tell the goy, this is kosher meat. It's not kosher meat. I'm selling you kosher meat. I know you like eating kosher meat. You're saying in your mind, the guy doesn't have to eat kosher. Who cares whether it's kosher or not? It's not kosher meat. I know it's not. This is kosher. Yes. It's got a blessing from the rabbi. Yes, I'm going to charge you a little extra money because it's kosher meat. So it's haram, right? That's a lie. You say this leather, the shoe, was made from leather of a kosher animal when it was made from leather of a non-kosher animal. Who cares? What's the difference? For a Jew, it doesn't make a difference. Why should it matter to the goy? But the goy wants leather from a kosher animal. He wants the shoe to be from leather of a kosher animal. So, yeah, guys, what does it matter? I'm going to lie to him. Haram. You shouldn't lie and say, I'm walking with Jeremy home. Jeremy, please come over. I want you to have lunch with me. And he's not going to come lunch. His wife is waiting for him. His kids are waiting for him. He's going to come have lunch with me right on the spot. I'm putting it on the spot, right? So what am I doing? I can tell him, but beforehand, okay, or I don't know, an hour before, 2 hours, a day before, a week before, fine. But if I know that I'm just saying it to con him, to make him feel, of course, you can come to my house. Okay, that's a con job, right? You know what? Jeff, you're coming to my house. I have this bottle of scotch. I'm opening it in your honor. I'm not opening it in his honor. I just want some scotch, and I was going to open it whether he comes or not. This bottle of scotch I'm opening in your honor, right? This special Balbini, I don't know, whatever. Somebody help me out here. 14-year casket, right? And Caribbean, casks, barrels. I was thinking barrel. Okay. Well, that's haram, right? Anything like this. You're not allowed to lie to people. Be nice to people. Yes, you can be genuinely nice to people. I can genuinely find a bottle of scotch and I'm genuinely opening for this person. That's okay. But don't lie about it, right? And a sefat emet, truth on the tongue, ruach nachon, a stable spirit, left a heart, a pure heart, mikol amal b'havot. There should be no lies, no splits within the personality caused by these lies, and you will be a much happier person. And we will stop and now continue Belinetta next week, and we'll have to make a new Xerox. Any questions? Everybody's good? They're afraid to talk after this, Said it.
Keep your words short.
Exactly. Just so you all just want to listen. I got it. Okay. But anyway, it's a really important stuff. I love the honesty of the Torah and the real piety of the old generation, that they wouldn't even lie to a goy, right? They wouldn't lie. They wouldn't do any of the phoniness that sometimes is common in society. They refuse to do that. So That's really,
That's something that I meant to actually comment on. I have heard,
yeah,
you know what, it's okay to the guy to
Yeah.
lie, to
I know.
overcharge.
yeah,
You know, not, thank God, not in our community, I haven't heard things like that, but I have heard it
Yeah.
elsewhere. I'm like, oh my God, it can't possibly be the halakha. They don't.
no,
know
it's
the
not,
halakha.
it's not the halakha, it's not, it's sad that happens because they end up giving a bad name sometimes for, you know, they give a bad name to the Torah, and the Torah is quite beautiful, yep, you're right,
It seems like it's a lot of, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
no, no,
Sorry, but you're saying that it's empirically wrong. It's
Yeah. it's an avon,
basically and empirically wrong. It has not just that it makes us look bad or something.
yeah, oh, 100%, but devar sheker tirhak. One has to stay away from speech that is falsehood.
Right.
Empirically wrong, 100%. It also makes us look bad, but it's also empirically wrong, right? Right. Yes, Isaac.
Oh, I was just gonna say, a lot of this stuff, it seems like almost, as crazy as it sounds, common knowledge to be like a good person and to do the right things, but we don't know a lot of these laws, not laws, but like, if you don't read it, sometimes you forget it.
It's true, by the way. We need to read these things and refresh our memories and realign our thinking. And the idea of speaking with honesty and integrity is so important because it's very easy to lose that, right? And to listen to people, not get angry, try to listen to our spouses, try to understand what's really bothering them. Not easy, but it's you know, it's something that's worth the effort. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, it was a pleasure as always.